Alpha.
Hey, what's up, Sony? My name's Trevor, and today we're shooting for stock. So today we're talking about quality. How do we make our pictures stand out from the crowd? What's going to be the defining factors that are going to get our images to the top of the list and on the front pages of search results? And how are we going to create an expressive mood? How are we going to actually communicate a feeling to the people that are viewing the images and the videos at the end of the day? In our quality episode, we're going to be giving you 5 tips to up your quality and increase your sales in the game of stock. Tip number 1. Production value. How do we increase production value?
Hey guys, look at this incredible place we're at. We're at the West Coast National Park. Keen to join us? Come along.
Production value in its essence is the elements you use to create the set. To have a high production value, generally you would need a high budget to cover all the bases needed for a commercial project. But for us shooting stock, we want to keep budgets as low as possible. We are at this beautiful houseboat. We found this amazing location that is unique. All around us you can see natural beauty, and we have these beautiful houseboats nestled right here in the middle in this beautiful little bay with our own private little beach. And by having a unique location, we find a way to easily stand out, to easily show something that's different, and it stands out. It's not the average thing that you would find in stock. Therefore, we are hustling our production value with a unique location. This adds an element of value that is on par with big budgets. Unique stories are interesting for stock because it gives the libraries an opportunity to showcase themselves as original content curators and better their marketing efforts, and you get rewarded with higher search results. Another way to increase production value is to add props and styling to increase your story element, to give it a deeper story. Bring some toys and elements you can add to increase the detail in your stories. As you add these little layers to your project, you inevitably add a deeper emotional impact for the viewer as they pick up on these subtle cues and get more interaction when receiving your message. Tip number 2 is expressive lighting. As content creators and image capturers, first and foremost, lighting is important. You need to know your light and how to work with the light. Lighting can be very expressive if you play it right, and one of the main elements that will create the quality you need. There is a range of lighting techniques and tricks that one can incorporate into your shoot. During midday, we have to pay more attention to the harsh shadows. But today we are lucky enough to have a natural scrim that is keeping our dynamic range in check. Make sure to be aware of your light at all times. An easy rule to keep lighting in check is to shoot backlit. Backlight will give you a nice shadow area to play with in the front that you can light with a bounce or something. Then you expose for the backlight, getting a beautiful kind of almost contrasty image. You can always bring back a little bit of the shadow areas in post, but you can never recover overexposed highlight. You can be really creative with light and use it as an expressive tool. Things like flare will bring the outside inside and give a relationship between the environment and the subject. Elements like fire and fairy lights and very soft lighting will give it a deeper mood into the image.
Tip number 3, composition. When shooting, always focus on composition. As a stock photographer, you're moving in and out quite regularly, you're moving around the set quite regularly, and you're changing your format, portrait, landscape, quite regularly.
Shots with space is essential for advertisers to be able to put text and to relay their message out to the universe. Make sure to compose your content with open areas available for text of different sizes, and preferably with enough space for cropping if they need it. In our images, we are shooting mostly outdoors, and thus these have amazing landscapes with plenty of blue sky to use for our copy. When not focusing on copy space, use the rule of thirds, especially when in a location such as a house that is very specific with strong lines that will interact with your frame. And don't forget to come in close up and get those detailed shots where you get very specific elements that give you beautiful moments and communicate emotion clearly.
Tip number 4 is to use your different lenses. Always have a portrait lens on hand.
I like to use the Sony 50mm prime lens and the Sony 85mm prime with an aperture of 1.4. This will separate the subject from the background with a shallow depth of field and offer the viewer a more subtle cue into the location without distracting from the message. We double up with a shallow depth of field, which also allows for copy space in the blur areas.
And then of course the wide lenses are always my favorite, especially for close-ups. The wide lenses give you a complete view of the landscape, but also when you come in closer, you can have things in the foreground and you can still play out a full story over there in focus, and the foreground can be suggestive. Tip number 5, guys, is authenticity. Now this is a big one because stock can be very unauthentic.
If you are not aware of this, stock can become a shot list, and you can land up just gunning through the list from one shot to the next, just checking them off. This will make your content very static, with no personality, and that's why stock generally has such a bad rap.
Authenticity is something that is very relevant these days because it resonates with a lot of people.
People pick up on fake content. We are a consumer society, more and more familiar with the content due to the amount of consumption we do. And real stories just seem to resonate with a deeper part of our souls.
For this shoot, we decided to use a real couple. When you get real couples, you get actual real moments. That type of authenticity you can't really create. The way I try to create more authenticity in my pictures is I try to give the models something to do, something to play out, a scene that they can interact, that I can almost document in a kind of staged documentary. And in this way, as you're going through the shoot, you're going to see moments where you can just grab those amazing moments. And don't forget action shots. Action shots are always a winner for authenticity. There's always something happening, always something splashing and something jumping and something flying and somebody smiling and somebody giggling. There's always something very specific that you can pull out. It's important for you as the photographer to interact with the model and be part of the story so that they feel comfortable. They open up to you and that they can give you something unique, something special that only like a group of friends might have. And then guys, you know, the best way to actually up your quality is to practice. Practice, practice, and practice some more. The more you shoot, the better you're gonna get. The more familiar you're gonna get with directing, the more you're gonna be able to be comfortable in set and just go with the flow and figure out how to move from one shot into the next shot into the next shot seamlessly. And don't forget to play. Don't forget to have fun and to explore and to be part of the moment, because that's the only way you're really going to get some expressive stuff coming through, some really unique, authentic moments. Inevitably, you're going to have an awesome experience. And the awesome experience gets documented. And that awesome documented content gets sold to people who are looking for experience content. And remember, it's important to give yourself some space. Make moments that you can breathe and that you can enjoy it and that you can soak it up. And in that way, you can think clearly as you move into the next shot. Well, thank you very much, Sony Alva. It's been real. Thanks for joining us in today's episode. Catch you again.